New York City. Today it's the beating heart of the modern world. The skyline is instantly recognizable. Wall Street controls global finance. Times Square never sleeps. And the Statue of Liberty stands as a symbol of hope. But what if I told you this city of steel and glass began as nothing more than a swampy Dutch trading post, purchased for the price of a few coins, and built on conflict, ambition, and survival? This is the forgotten history of New York City. Back in 1624, Dutch settlers from the West India Company landed on a small island they called Manhattan, the land of many hills. At first, it was just a fur trading outpost. In fact, the Dutch bought the island of Manhattan from the Lenape people for goods worth about 60 guilders, later misrepresented as just 24 US dollars. But this wasn't a simple sale. The Lenape likely thought they were agreeing to share the land, not hand it over permanently. From its very beginning, New York was born in misunderstanding, cultural clashes, and a hunger for power. New Amsterdam, as it was called, was no shining city. It was a frontier settlement of wooden houses, muddy streets, and defensive walls. The Dutch dug canals through the island just like in Amsterdam, and traders from Europe, Africa, and the Americas passed through. It was diverse even then, but rough, dangerous, and unstable. In 1664, the city's fate changed forever. British warships sailed into the harbor. Outnumbered and unprepared, the Dutch surrendered without firing a shot. The colony was handed to the Duke of York, and New Amsterdam became New York. This was no longer a Dutch outpost. It was a growing jewel in the British Empire. During the American Revolution, New York became a stage for history. George Washington himself fought here, but after the Battle of Long Island, he was forced into retreat. The British occupied New York for nearly the entire war, using it as their base of power. Fires tore through the city, destroying hundreds of buildings. Yet even in ruins, New York was too important to lose. When independence was won, it briefly became the first capital of the United States. George Washington took his first presidential oath right here, on Wall Street. Then came the 19th century, and with it, a tidal wave of change. Ships brought millions of immigrants through Ellis Island. Irish families fleeing famine. Italians chasing dreams. Jewish refugees escaping persecution. Each group added something new, shaping New York into the most diverse city on earth. Standing tall above the harbor, the Statue of Liberty greeted them. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. For many, New York was not just a city. It was the first step into a new life. But immigration wasn't the only thing transforming the city. Industry was booming, Wall Street was rising, and with limited land on Manhattan, there was only one direction left to build, up. The skyscraper was born. First the Flatiron Building, then the Chrysler Building, and finally the Empire State Building, which for decades stood as the tallest in the world. These weren't just buildings. They were monuments to ambition, to the very idea of New York as a city that would never stop growing. Yet the city's story wasn't always triumph. By the 1970s, New York was nearly bankrupt. Crime soared, neighborhoods crumbled, and many believed the city had lost its soul. But just as it had before, New York reinvented itself. The financial sector rebounded, culture exploded in places like Broadway and Harlem, and the city rose once again. Then came one of the darkest days in modern history, September 11, 2001. The Twin Towers fell, and with them, nearly 3,000 lives were lost. For a moment, it felt as though New York might never recover. But it did. Today, One World Trade Center stands as both a memorial and a symbol of resilience. From swampy trading post to imperial colony, from immigrant gateway to global capital, New York has always. From swampy trading post to imperial colony, from immigrant gateway to global capital, New York has always been a city of reinvention. And maybe that's its greatest secret. No matter how many times it falls, it rises again, stronger, bigger, more unshakable. So the question is, if New York has already reinvented itself so many times, what will it become next? Is its greatest story still ahead?